Shalom, shalom. Kol halalina Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Bahashem Rakakodash. Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishops, elders and elder bishops of Great Millstone, and shalom to the prophets of their body, and shalom to the 144,000, and greater multitude, the 1/3. May peace and blessings be upon your households. Okay, subscribe to the Men of Great Millstone. They are the mouthpiece of Yahweh Bashem Hoshai. If you're a like-minded individual like myself, who is, who wants to learn about this truth in its entirety through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Hoshai, okay, I would say you subscribe to them and any affiliate camps that are joined with them if you want to learn completely and you are not a stupid individual that just wants entertainment. If you want to learn the truth, you want to know what's going on, if you want to know where you're from, where you're at, where you're going, especially from an Israelite perspective, if you feel that you are part of the hopeful elect, okay, no matter what your position is, all right, you want to be drawn to it. The Lord will, choose you and sup with you. John 15:16, right? But anyway, shalom. I'm speaking kind of low because it's about 3:45 a.m. Friday, the 4th of April. Shalom again. Right, and shalom Babakar. Top of the morning to you. Anyway, now, I read a lot of articles, a lot of people's posts, especially on LinkedIn and your general information out there, people's mindsets, especially with LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is joined specifically to, you don't have to be in the corporate world to be part of LinkedIn. People, whether you're a plumber, whether you're a builder, you've got some kind of business, you're a hairdresser, you're a barber, you're a, I don't know, account manager, business development, CEO, whatever, right? People put their experiences out there from a C-suite perspective. You've got people out there explaining people's mindsets in terms of depression, companies closing, the downturn in recruitment. You've got recruitment agencies. I read a couple of articles where there was ladies, they had a picture of them having a few glasses of wine, and they're saying, it's been a good 25 years. I think they said 20 years or whatever. And they had to close their recruitment company down, right? A lot of burger joints, not as popular as your so-called McDonald's or whatever. Not that anybody should eat that crap anyway, but I'm just saying, a lot of those kind of places are shutting down, right? It's because the Lord is, squeezing the hell out of Babylon. Paraphrasing the scripture, the Lord is plucking up which was planted. Esau's kingdom, so-called white man's kingdom, was planted. They got a foothold over this world because the Lord Yahweh Shai gave him the sword as their weapon. And how these so-called white people amass their wealth is through murder, stealing, theft, grape, slavery, and mainly the Israelites, they did that too, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and also other nations across the four corners of the earth. Your Elamites, your Ishmaelites, your Hamites, a good chunk of the wealth was, from so-called Africa and India, a good chunk of the wealth, and America. That Esau, the so-called white man, built up his wealth, and also stealing all the inventions of the Israelites, the so-called Negro, the so-called Native Indian, and the so-called Hispanic, especially from America, which is New Egypt, all right? It was that shining beacon or that light, Now it's no more. The Lord is dimming that light. Okay? It's Babylon the Great. It's New Egypt. Hence the reason why there's a pyramid on the dollar bill. You've got the obelisks. All right? And, all the inventions, be it the heart transplant, the car, the light, right? Any kind of modern technology that you have, the laptop, the computer, you know, um, your foods, your liquors, you know, right? I mentioned electricity, the mobile phone, everything is by the so-called black man, so-called native Indian, especially the tribe of Judah. All right. Obviously, we had no might, we had no power. All right. And what did they do? These crackers, these Edomites owned the patent office, so they would steal your inventions, right? And then choose some cracker, right? Some Edomite, and say, "Oh yeah, was it Edison or whatever, or some that weird Amalekite Einstein? They put that weirdo. Oh, he did this, he did that. Okay, it's all us. All right. That's how they amassed their wealth. Now the Lord is plucking up that which was planted. All right. Now, I was just checking out now along with um, inflation rates because the money is weak, right? Um, the money is very weak, so hence the reason you need more to purchase. For example, 25 years ago, if you did say, I don't know, $100 shopping a week, I'm just using a number, right? Now that same $100 worth of shopping, you probably have to pay maybe, I don't know, $300 for now, or you know, for a week. It's almost damn near quadrupled or tripled or quadrupled. It's got to the point where people are complaining about whether they need to put fuel in their car or eat. Shall they go work or not because they're just breaking even? Hell, they're not making it work. You see all these people that are crashing out, that are exhausted. You got Esau, the so-called white man, putting things in the air, with his chemtrails. People are constipated. You go to the aisles of supermarkets, all the laxatives are gone. So people are trying to find ways to even get a bowel movement, and they're trying to drink all the water. The water's poisoned, the food's poisoned. You don't know whether you're eating real food or not. And the Lord did say, "We'll eat our bread defiled." And that's what Jake is going through, and the heathen too. But Jake knows why they're going through it. But the heathen, they don't know why they're going through it. All right, you drink tons of water, you're still damn near thirsty all the time. It's a very, you can feel the Lord is just destroying this place, but the elect are being sustained. All right, people are earning money, the ones that are still working, but they're not earning enough. All right, Haggai 1:6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. Okay, it feels like that you got a bag or you got a wallet, and it's damn near you're putting your money into a sieve because whatever you put in there is going straight back out, and it's not enough. Okay, and the pay rates that they have is basically the same pay rates that they had back in 2001 or the year 2000. All right, if you look at some of the jobs, right, and they want 4 or 5 years experience, and if you look at the basic salary that they're offering, you say, what the fuck is going on? And it's all done by design. Okay, because most of these companies, like BlackRock, for example, we know who owns BlackRock, all right, and they have subsidiaries underneath their belt. Okay, and they own numerous companies. It's like, for example, you have one company over here, okay, or let's just say supermarket. I'll use it from a UK perspective. You've got Tesco, Sainsbury's, you've got Lidl, right? Lidl's in America as well, I believe. These are supermarkets, where you can buy, it's kind of like a Walmart environment where you can buy clothes, affordable clothes for children. Women can buy their drawers, men can buy their drawers and socks and all that kind of stuff. And you've got liquor and food there, right? Now, all these stores are owned by the same so-called elites, these Edomites, all right? Okay, so what they do is they increase the prices in one store and decrease the prices in another store. But at the end of the day, they're all still making a ton of cash. Okay, and they're the same people that tell the people, the CEOs and C-suite say, yeah, okay, yeah, put it at this basic salary for every company, and it's all across the board because remember, this is their world at the moment for the short duration they have it. So they are moving chess pieces where people are not getting paid what they're supposed to get paid. Why? Because they're supposed to. The Lord is putting Yahweh Shemashah is putting a spirit on them to destroy this world inside out, and ultimately, what they want to do is push you into a corner to take the mark of the beast. All right, which is Revelation 13:16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay, what's that mark? That's charagma. If you go to the blue letter, which means incision or etching into the flesh, that is a RF to the I to the D. That's going to be the new form of currency. All right, you've already seen commercials and uh, people making skits and stuff like that. How convenient it is. Okay, they show it in movies like Back to the Future. Where they didn't show it to it in its entirety, but they had like Michael J. Fox in part two, I believe, and the fashion in the future was people wearing clothes and they had their pockets turned inside out. Now, what's that supposed to signify? Pockets turned inside out. It means they don't need a damn thing to put in those pockets, not even money, right? And when Biff, if you watch if you watch the movie, when he goes back to the future, didn't he use a thumbprint to pay for I think the taxi it was. Okay, so and they show it in cartoons, people scanning their hands. So it's coming to that point where you're going to be pushed into a corner, right? Where you're going to have no choice but take the RF to the I to the D. So they want to have the so-called white man wants to own this world. They want to see what you're doing. They want to think they want to know what you're thinking. Minority Report. They show you in that movie, don't they? They want to know what you're thinking. CCTV cameras everywhere. They want to know what you're doing. All right. They want to CHIP you. So they want to know what you're thinking, what you're doing, where you're moving, you know? So when they look on the screen, they can say, oh, yeah, these people they can see all these dots on the screens. Oh, yeah, these are, this is section A of London, or this is section A of New York, or section A of Pennsylvania, or section A of Birmingham in the UK, or section C of Birmingham in America, or whatever, or different parts of the world. So they can see the people that are CHIP, what they're doing, what they're thinking. They want to be like the Most High, okay? And they're trying to build their world, man. They're trying to build their new world order. But the Lord Yahweh Shai said, if though you build, I will throw down. Paraphrasing scripture there, okay? Let's go to verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. This is going to be the new form of currency, okay, as they push you into a corner, all right? Now, as you can see here, AI gave me an answer. Yes, there is a concerning trend of recruitment agencies facing difficulties and even closures due to a combination of factors, including slowing economy, rising interest rates, and businesses becoming more cautious about hiring. Not cautious; they can't hire anybody anymore. They're actually letting people go. All right. Economic slowdown, rising interest rates, weakening economy, climate payment delays. Some clients are delaying payments to suppliers, including recruitment agencies, which can strain cash flow. Why are they delaying payments? Because they don't have the money to pay. Mike Epps, who makes a joke? Yeah, Eddie Griffin made a joke on his stand-up saying that, yeah, so-called black people know how to manage money, because Jake goes through the curses. They say, yeah, we'll pay a partial payment for the light bill. We'll pay a partial payment for that. You'll basically prioritize payments because you want to survive and get through each day. Now these curses, pursuant to Deuteronomy 30, verse 7, is coming on these heathens slowly but surely, right? So therefore, their businesses, they're trying to prioritize their payments so they can try and stay afloat. So therefore, a lot of people are not getting their money. So that cycle of cash is not going through. Hence the reason people are suffering. And then the next business can't pay on time, etc., etc., etc. Okay? Struggling to service pandemic debt. Some recruitment agencies may be struggling to service debt incurred during the pandemic. High activity slowing. Hiring activity is slowing with both job postings and placements remaining relatively low. Redundancy intentions rising. Redundancy intentions have climbed to their highest level in a decade, with with the private sector particularly hard hit. All right. Insolvencies of recruitment agencies in the UK have increased, with a 14% jump in the last year. Let's go to definition of insolvency. What is a definition of insolvency in business? Okay, insolvency is a state in which a business can't pay its debts. For example, insolvent companies either can't pay their bills when they are due or have more liabilities than assets on their balance sheet, known as being balance sheet insolvent. All right. Okay. Job cuts. Some recruitment companies have cut jobs as a result of the slowdown in the market. A shifting focus, recruitment agencies may need to adapt to the changing market, focusing on building trust with clients and staying up to date with technology. They don't really get to the point because what it is with a lot of AI. Remember, they're told what to say as well, so they're not going to say that basically everything's fucked, right? They're not going to say that. What they're going to say is they're going to give you some truths, and they're going to add say, yeah, it's because of technology, this, now, the third. Hey, listen, most companies are up to date with technology, you know, and they're not going to really give you the complete truth. They're going to give you half truths, so to speak, and they're going to sugarcoat shit so people can say, oh yeah, there's still some kind of hope to bring it back, you know. UK recruitment agency insolvencies jumped 14%. Falling job vacancies may signal recession, recruiter warns. That's 15th of December 2024. Okay. The Guardian, 9th of March 2025. Firm hold back on hiring amid significant cost rises. All right. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to go through the titles. All right. Rise in insolvency for recruitment agencies. What does recession mean for recruitment in 2024? Okay. It's been getting bad, man. Even Elder Apostle Gabal was saying it's harder to find a job. I believe this is about maybe several months ago, was it? Even I believe Elder Apostle Tahar, I believe one of the prophets said that Elder Apostle Tahar said, if you got a job, to stay with it, man. Unless you got something lined up, then maybe move into it. But otherwise, if you don't have anything lined up, just stay with where you are, man. Because finding a job is harder because you've got to ride it out until the bubble pops, you know. Now's not the time to, oh, I'm gonna buy a second home and all that bullshit, man. You got a roof over your head, you got food in your belly, man, and you get through each day as a brakti habashim ashai for everything. All right, and you just keep it moving, man. All right, time is short, and we can see the signs. Hiring downturn, just tip of the iceberg, warn business chiefs. Let's go here. It lets me open it up. 14th of January 2025. Hiring downturn, just tip of the ice. Hiring downturn, just tip of the iceberg, warn business chiefs. Soaring oil prices and falling value of pound add to employers' concerns after budget tax rate. Britain's hiring downturn is just tip of the iceberg. Business chiefs have warned. Can I open this up? Or they want your email address. I'm not going to mess with that. I just open up, see what we can. Let's see if I can hear. Companies closing in the UK at a fast rate 2025. In 2025, the UK is experiencing a wave of company closures and job losses, particularly in sectors like retail, hospitality, and construction, due to rising costs, economic pressures, and shifts in consumer behavior. And there's nothing to do out there no more. You got a lot of the old elder Edomites, that are marching to, keep England or whatever. They were at the pubs drinking, saying, "Oh, there's nothing, nowhere to go anymore. There's no clubs to go anymore. There's no pubs to go anymore. The pubs are closing down." You know, or if I've got to buy some decent clothes, I've got to go into the city. I can't even go to a regular store like I used to, or to the mall. You know, because if you're like in your 40s or 50s, you remember how it was maybe 25 years ago. You go to your local mall, maybe I don't know, 7 to 8 miles. Drive there, park up in the car park, which is right opposite the mall. Nice big spacious car park. Walk in. It wouldn't be, and it'd be free, or it'd be like a very affordable amount, which you could pay per hour how long you're there. Right? Walk into the mall, and the whole mall would cover every aspect of clothing, man. Your chilled out clothing, your sportswear, your smart casual, your formal wear, different types of sneakers, boots, shoes, colognes or whatever you wanted to buy, jackets, bomber jackets, everything would be there under one roof. Now, when you want to get something, it's like you got to order from either halfway around the world, or you go to a down store, they don't really have anything. Oh yeah, we got, you got to go online to buy it. And the pain in the backside of trying to figure out whether you want to buy it online or not, because you don't know whether it'll be the way it is in the picture. Then you got to find out if the company is legitimate online to see if you want to order from them. You want to find out the reviews, all that shit that you got to go through. It makes it more, and then people mainly stay home. And if they do go out, where are they going to go to? You know, that's why you're going to see certain. That's why you see certain the one or two pubs that are left over in a certain area. They're usually quite lively because that's the only place. I guess when the time comes, it's going to be easier to grab people as well for Esau, because they know, yeah, okay, there's only one pub in that area. Let's go there. That's busy on a Saturday night, or that's one store within a 10-mile radius of that area. Oh yeah, we can go and grab them or whatever. It'd be easy to grab people. However Esau's going to do it when the time comes. Here's a breakdown of the situation. Retail. Many retailers are struggling to cope with rising costs, falling sales, and the rise of online shopping, leading to store closures and job cuts. Okay, less bodies in stores, less bodies required in a store, then eventually they're going to have those self-checkouts, which they have in a lot of places. I mean, my local little store around down the road, back 10 years ago, there'd be some nice looking girls working there at the checkouts. Now you don't see nothing anymore. You see these old, now you see hardly anything in there anymore. Self checkout, and it's nothing but old women in there. One or two that have worked there. It's just that zest and that mirth and that liveliness of even chatting up a woman in a store is going on. Well, especially in London anyway. I mean, it starts parts that they're okay, still, but I know how it was back in the 90s. That liveliness is gone, which is a good thing. Fuck Esau's kingdom, Hospitality and food services. Restaurants and bars are facing challenges with rising costs, reduced discretionary spending, and the impact of economic uncertainty. Okay, it's a cycle. If you're not earning money, you've got no money to spend. If you don't have enough to spend, and everything's too damn expensive with inflation, right? You don't have disposable income. Disposable income is like extra income that you have for like so-called fun. You don't have nothing to go anywhere. That's why cinemas are empty. And plus, who wants to go to the cinema when he can chill out at home, watch Netflix or Prime or some other platform, right? In a clean seat instead of sticky cinema floors, and your butt starts itching on a dirty cinema seat because you don't know which damn cracker or heathen or even nasty person has sat there, and these people in the cinemas don't clean the seats, or wash the seats, or with some kind of, how it is, the way you can wash carpets, and that happens to you, man. That's why I don't even like going to cinema. It's nasty like that. I mean, it's fun back 25, 30 years ago if you're going out with a woman, but for the most part, that was just to get the box. For the most part, Jake likes to be in, as the scriptures say, Jake likes to be intense, man. Simple. Jake likes simple things. Give Jake some entertainment, some liquor, a woman, good food, and a little bit of comfort. Jake is all right, man. Put his feet up on his time, on his damn time. Nobody wants to go to the cinema no more, man. I mean, people still go, but if you do go, guaranteed, especially nowadays, there'll be like one or two people. I mean, I went with my son a couple of times. Last haven't been going recently, but last couple of movies, Black Adam, and I think it was a couple after that. Spiritual power based or whatever. spiritual power base, showing superpowers. I forget the names. I'm getting up in age. Yeah, it was like just 2, 3 people in there, including my son. So it was you know it was it's a very Esau's world is dying. All right. Admin support services. Many companies in the sector rely on struggling businesses, leading to a ripple effect of insolvencies. Manufacturing, high energy costs, and global supply chain issues are impacting manufacturing companies. Specific examples: supermarkets, Morrison's, Aldi, Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda, and Ocado are all implementing cost-cutting measures, including job cuts and store closures. It's happening. It's definitely happening. We had Woolworths here. I remember growing up with loads of Woolworths in the neighborhoods that I grew up. Woolworths was a great place to go. To buy your CDs and your tapes back in the day. I remember going there in the 80s with my mum buying them action figures. The Mr. T action figure, Hannibal Smith and Murdoch. When 18 was popular in the 80s. All the Mattel toys. Woolworths closed down. I believe about 20 years ago here in the UK. Toys R Us is gone, and it's a slow process. And believe it or not, KFC, man, a couple of them have shut down. And it's coming to that point, man. It's just only going to get worse, because we're coming to that 250th year of Esau's solidification of their rule. Was it May the 1st, 1776? Even though the UK has crackers over here for a little bit longer, but the New World was, called the New World because that's their sort of foundation for the New World Order, which is, they're going to try to take it off, but it's not going to happen. Yahweh Shemashai is going to stop it. Because remember, the Lord controls both sides. Isaiah 45, verse 7. The Lord controls the right-hand side or the left-hand side. Factors contributing to the situation: rising costs, economic uncertainty, shifting consumer behavior, government policies. All right. So we've got sort of like, here we go. Record retail shop closures forecast for 2025. Let's see what's here. Yeah. The retail sector is braced for a challenging year, with a record 17,349 shop closures forecast for 2025. What's that channel? What's that Jake's channel? Northern Kingdom Jake? Feliz. Is it Mateo? Mateo something. Mateo Leto or something? Feliz. He goes around showing stores like that look like that, all empty. Either boarded up. There's places here in the UK, like empty houses, empty stores. They're actually painting pictures to make it look lively, to give it the artificial look that is still somewhat of some kind of life there. But it's all artificial, It's like trying to make it's like making a high street or a strip look busy by putting fucking mannequins everywhere. Oh yeah, it looks like a busy high street, The same way, like I believe Elder Malcolm had mentioned this when I was one of his teachings. I think it was a camp where they mentioned that a Chicago river or something, they're putting fake plastic fish in there to make it look, somewhat, lively, when it's fake plastic fish. Weird. Okay. And okay, remember one thing as well: the UK is a very small island, man. You can fit the UK into Texas 5 times. So 17,349 shop closures forecast for 2025. Right, it's going to be a significant dent, man. That's shit, more than that, more than a significant dent. If the forecast is correct, then this would surpass the previous record of 2022 of 17,145. Last year, 13,479 shops closed and 169,395 retail jobs were lost, marking a 20% increase from 2023. Okay. 38 major retailers went into administration. Household names such as Lloyd's Pharmacy, Homebase, The Body Shop. You guys know about Body Shop, right? Because, that's in the States too. Carpet Right, that's like a DIY place, buy carpets for your house. Ted Baker, I think it's a so-called designer clothes place or a clothing line. Around a third of all retail jobs losses in 2024, 33%, or 55,914 in total, resulted from administrations closing down ultimately. For these, see the figures here, man. Outcomes for 2024, retailing 2024, and in December. Now we're just approaching the 4th of April, so it's only going to increase. Let's go to a couple of scriptures, then we'll call it, we'll shut it down. Okay. Now, you're going to be pushed in the corner, Jake. All right. The elect are not going to take the charagma. They're not going to take the CHIP. All right. Proverbs 1 and 10. My son, if sin has enticed thee, consent thou not. Are you going to believe in Yahweh Hashem Yeshai, or are you going to say, okay, the Lord ain't going to help us. Let's just take on the CHIP, or take the CHIP. All right. Hebrews 11 verse 1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11 verse 6. Without faith, it is impossible to please him. Paraphrasing. You got to have faith, man. The Lord will cover you with his wings and provide you food and drink when you require it, and warmth for the night and clothes for your back. Okay, the Lord is not going to let his sheep, get enticed and fail. If you jumped over the first hurdle, which was not taking the snake juice when that C19 thing kicked off, all right, that's the first hurdle. You will jump over this one if you are part of his number. All right. But these traps and snares are designed to catch the heathen because their world is ending. F them. But you 2/3 Jakes are going to get caught out there also. All right. You were the same ones, man, that wanted to save Barabbas instead of His Majesty Yahweh Shai. All right. We've done Haggai 1 and 6. Let's go to this one. Ecclesiastes 12 and 4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. All right. This is Jake talk. Grinding. There are no jobs, no grind. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. All right. No work. Right. No one playing music, and the music is trash also. It's being brought low. Entertainment, no more entertainment. All right. So, any kind of coffee shops you have in your neighborhood, the one or two that you do have, guaranteed will be full during the weekdays. Why? A lot of people are out of work. They're commiserating, talking, trying to figure out ways to make money. Oh yeah, so and so's hiring. This place is hiring. Let me do Uber instead, or whatever. There could be a lawyer or a doctor, had a private surgery, or a dentist, whatever. They're switching up jobs. And this the doors are shutting, and we've read plenty of examples there from a UK perspective. And how much more in Babylon, man? Those once vibrant cities of San Francisco, the streets of San Francisco. Remember that show with Michael Douglas in the 80s? The beautiful streets that go up and down, the beautiful women, the blue skies, the California, the Los Angeles skyline, the blue sky, the old schools, Jake driving around, now you see nothing but, a gray tinge or a gray haze of everything, and there's whack ass electric cars everywhere. Everything's shutting down, man. It's only gonna get worse. Isaiah 24 and 11. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Mirth is what? Definition of mirth. Amusement, especially as expressed in laughter. All right. Okay, so there is crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The amusement, expressive laughter of the land is gone. It's gone because we are, okay, our kingdom is coming. 2nd Esdras 6 verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, which is the so-called white man's world, and Jacob, which is our world, is beginning of it that followeth. Okay, our world is coming. So these signs are a good sign. All right, Jake. All right, if you're a part of the, listen, if you are a hopeful elect member, you should not be feeling upset or sad about this place going out. You should not be thinking, oh, I want to go back to the 90s, like some of these YouTube channels. People watch an old school movie or hear music. Oh, take me back to 1995 and leave me there. Or take me back to 1985 or 1975 and leave me there. I don't want to come back. I don't want to get out of this place. Life was better back then. Yeah, life was better back then, but this is an end of an era. Nothing lasts forever. And if you're one of them jakes that wants to go back in time, man, you're bugged out, and the Lord has put you in that situation to not even give you hope because you're not part of his sheep. But for the elect, this is the elect are, the hopeful elect are in good spirits, man. because we know what's, hopefully like know what's coming. All right. Hence the reason why the gospel is a good news. It's a good news for the Israelites, especially the elect. It's good news for the Israelites as a whole, but it's the elect that are going to come out of uh, Babylon, Egypt in the second Exodus. All right, which is going to happen very, very, very soon. We're just waiting for that one major prophecy, which is Revelation 13:16 to come to fruition, which is around the corner. Okay, because everything is going digital. All right, no human contact. All right, so it's coming to that point. Out with the old, in with the new. Onwards and upwards for Jake. Anyway, all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahashai Ba'ashem Rakapadash Mawatha Ba'al Babal Kwame Shalom.